Oh man, okay, so I decided I'm gonna do a car chat because I'm stuck in Philly traffic. So you know what, let's use this time to tell a story. Let's do a story time, since that's kind of what I'm into. Um, what story should I tell today? I know. How about I tell you guys a story about the time my boss called the police on me? Because, let's do that one. So, he actually didn't call the police on me because he didn't know I was there. What happened was, we had this guy who worked for us, and on a Friday, there were some things happening. So the story begins before that. They had hired this new person to come and work in our paint booth, and we already had 2 painters. My boss's idea was to have someone, either 2 people or 1 person during the day working that shift, and then the 3rd person would come in at night with possibly another person. And well, the 2 guys who were already there were unhappy with this 3rd person because this person has so much experience, and they bring him in because they think that they're not doing a good job, and basically all kinds of negative, when literally the only reason this person was hired was to have extra help, to have a second shift of sorts. So the one guy decided that our boss was literally trying to replace him, like have the 2 guys train this newcomer, get him up to par with the way our business works, and then bye. So he decides that he's gonna show them and just not come to work. So he didn't come to work to prove a point, like, you guys are gonna miss me when I'm gone type of thing. And honestly, he was just shooting himself in the foot. That's never a good idea. Like, what kind of point are you proving by just not coming into work? So anyway, long story short, dude who did that, our boss went to the back on a Friday to talk to him, saying like, look, you're really talented, we really need you, but cut the crap, okay? Like, you're not proving anything, you just look like an asshole, is more or less what the conversation was. He's like, I'm not trying to get rid of you, we literally need the help, just, cool it, it's fine. And I don't know, one thing led to another, and there were some words thrown out by a dude who was disgruntled, and I do have to give credit to my boss that he was totally calm and just kind of like, whatever, you don't have to stay here, we need you, but we don't need you. And the guy who was basically being a child sent me a video that he took with, it was more or less audio, it was just easier to do video on the phone, and of him having this loud conversation with my boss, who was not loud at all, and he's sending this to me as I don't know what. It just makes him look like a dick. So, whatever. Anyway, he gets fired/quits. Like, it was one of those situations where he brought it on himself, kind of like, blah, blah, blah. My boss is like, fine, you know what? Like, if you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I'm not chaining you to the booth. And then he kept asking for a pink slip. So he's gone. My boss is like, I'm not giving you a pink slip. If you want to leave, then leave. And I think my boss ended up asking him to leave because he was being so ridiculous. That was a Friday. That weekend, my boyfriend and I we just went to the shore for the weekend, and at this point we were quietly dating. We didn't tell anybody because, one, we worked together, and it was one of those things where we weren't quite sure how the workplace romances work, because a lot of companies frown upon that. It hinders on productivity, it's just not, it turns into favoritism, like all this stuff. So we did it quietly because we didn't want it to affect anything. We don't want people to get ideas. Well, we took my car. He left his vehicle at the shop. We took my car, went for the weekend, and then we came back on a Sunday night. That Sunday night, it was like, I don't know, 8 o'clock, close to 8 o'clock. And, my boyfriend's like, hey, do you think we could stop at the shop? I need to grab a vehicle. And I said, sure, it's no problem. So we stopped there on the way home, and he he decides he wants to take a pickup truck. So we get to the gate and we park the car outside the gate. He gets out, unlocks the gate, and gets back in the car to drive through it. And this man in a white car randomly pulls up next to us in the driveway. And my boyfriend looks over and he's like, "Rando." The guy puts down his window. My boyfriend puts down my window because I was in the passenger seat. And he says to... Did I just miss my exit? My boyfriend says to him, "Hey, can I help you?" Yeah, I definitely just missed my friggin' exit. Wait, where am I going? Alright, I'll find it. I'll find it. All is not lost. The guy, my boss, was not there. My boyfriend was like, "Can I help you?" And the guy was like, "Hey, are you here to see," says my boss's name. And my boyfriend's like, "No, are you?" And the guy's like, "No." And my boyfriend's like, "Okay, well, whatever." So the guy leaves. We go in through the gate, and where the frick did I go? We go in, we take the stuff out of my car, put it in the pickup truck that my boyfriend has a key to. Now, mind you, he has a gate key, he has vehicle keys, he has a company-issued iPad, he has keys of the building, he knows the security code, he knows the password if something happens and the alarm goes off and they call. He knows everything. My boyfriend works at the company. So we move everything from my car to his choice of vehicle, and we drive out together. He drives first, I'm behind him, and then I stop my car because he stopped his car, gets out, goes to lock the gate, and then he comes back and starts talking to me at my car. Well, he looks up at one point across the yard and sees a police officer driving very slowly on the main road watching us. And my boyfriend's like, "There's a cop watching you right now. What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" Well, little do we know, he goes to get back in the truck. He says goodbye to me, kisses me, whatever. He goes to get in the truck. Before he get in the truck, 6 police officers, when I say police officers, I mean one per car. 6 cop cars ambush us. 3 from one side, 3 from the other. And we're like, whoa, what the fuck just happened? What's going on right now? So I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, what in the world? What's going on right now? And my boyfriend's like, wow, okay. And he's feeling some sort of way because he's Puerto Rican. So, but it was just sort of a what the fuck moment, because, okay, we didn't do anything. Why are all these cops here? It's every cop in the town. Which is a fib, because actually where we work, it's a very, very large. I'm sitting there okay, great, I just want to go home. I don't know why this is even a thing. They start talking to my boyfriend, what's your name? What are you doing here? Whose car is this? So I'm sitting there watching all of this, and I see him, talking with his hands, he's showing him his iPad, he's showing him the keys, I got keys to everything, whatever, and call me boss. And I'm sitting there watching, not paying attention, and a cop comes up on my right side, takes his flashlight, starts shining it in my window, and taps on my window with it. I put it down, and I'm like, yeah? He goes, "Can you put your hands where I can see them?" So I put my hands up on the steering wheel, and then another cop comes up on the other side of my car, and he wants my window down, so I put that down, and he goes, "So, what's his name?" Starts asking me questions about my boyfriend. And I tell him, his name is, and I said, "He works here." He's like, "Oh, yes?" I said, "Yeah, and so do I." He's like, "Oh, you do?" And I said, "Yes, I work here. I'm not in company clothing because it's a Sunday, but I work here." And he's like, "Okay." And he's like, "And whose vehicle is that?" I'm like, "That's a company vehicle." And, we weren't gonna lie about anything. It's not Lewis's car. I'm not, it's not his truck. It's a company vehicle. So you know, I don't know, I hear the one cop, both cops stayed by my car. I guess just in case I pulled a fast one on them. I hear this one cop saying, okay, I'm gonna leave, and then this other cop is talking into his shoulder, the walkie-talkie, or the dispatch thing, and says, oh, nope, he's clear, he's good, because I guess they took his license and everything, got his name, and they were talking to our boss on the phone. So our boss said, oh, yeah, he works for me, he's fine. It was probably closer to 9. It was about an hour ordeal before everything got cleared and we were allowed to leave. But it was frustrating at the time. Now it's just funny. But it was frustrating at the time because, you know, we're tired. It was a fun weekend. We had to go to work the next day, and he just wanted to grab a vehicle so he was able to go to work the next day since he left his other vehicle at the shop. Yeah, it was just so weird. The officer apologized to me, the one on my left. The one on my right walked away because he was like, whatever, uneventful situation. But yeah, so the officer apologized, said, you know, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, and I'm like, you're not inconveniencing me. You look like you have the entire police force here for us. And he laughed and walked away. What had happened was that man that pulled up next to us worked across the street at that plant. And this was before we had cameras installed, but he called my boss and said there was a random Puerto Rican guy, a random Spanish guy, and a woman with him at shop. My boss figured it was the disgruntled employee that left that, you know, that Friday or whatever. And so he called the police. And a few months had gone by that my boss didn't know that I was there. He just knew that it was my boyfriend and a woman. Well, my boss, another coworker, and I went to lunch one day, and we were talking, and it came up. My boss was like, oh yeah, did you hear I called the police on Lewis? And my coworker and I looked at each other, because I had told her the story. We looked at each other and started laughing, and at the same time, I said, yeah, I know, I was there. And my coworker said, yeah, she was there. We said it at the same time. My boss put down his food and he was like, oh. And I guess he put 2 and 2 together, and he was like, I didn't know that was you that was there. I greatly apologize for that. And, you know, we laughed about it some more, and I said, you know, it wasn't funny at the time, but now it's hilarious and it's totally okay. I said, you know, you do need to look out for, you know, your stuff. Like, you need, it's great that you have a neighbor that's looking out for you. That's what I told him. I said, it really is. It's really nice to have people who look out for you, because where my job is, it is not the nicest part of town. So that's the story of getting the police called on me / us. And I know it wasn't a riveting story, I apologize, but I'm glad I did this. Oh Lord, I guess I'm gonna go home and upload this and kind of edit it. I mean, it's only 20 minutes long, which is probably the shortest video I've made thus far. Plus, it'll be nice to upload again, and that's it. I would love to have a regular uploading schedule. The problem is I can't even get a regular work schedule going on. So for me to have a regular uploading schedule is asking a lot of me. But one day when I have a good job that is strictly 9 to 5 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 4 or 7 to 4 or 7 to 3 or something, that is normal. Alright, friends, you have a wonderful day. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day.